If you've ever had trouble sleeping, you've probably tried counting sheep. But there's one flock of sheep that might just keep you up at night, and it's putting the U in UFO. April 2021, East Sussex, England. University lecturer Chris Hogg is going on his usual morning bike ride. What Chris doesn't know is that this bike ride is going to turn into a real head trip.
I'm getting closer and closer to what I suddenly realize is sheep. And I'm like, what is that? And why are they in these kind of concentric circles? And normally they're really like, sheep are noisy, but they were just absolutely silent.
So what or who is the cause for these weird sheep and their eccentric, concentric behavior?
If I didn't know better, I would call this a living crop circle.
While the concept of crop circles may have originated with a series of hoaxes in the 70s and 80s, similar reports go back centuries, and some of the latest crop circles are so mathematically precise, many theorize that they are encoded messages from extraterrestrial forces.
When you see something this odd, you have to ask yourself the question, are we dealing with perhaps some form of non-human intelligence that are controlling these sheep?
This wouldn't be the first case of crop circle via animal. About a decade ago, crop circles were springing up all over Tasmania, Australia. The culprit? Frenzied wallabies hopping in circles, almost as if someone else was controlling them. And what about this wild and woolly sheep incident?
Historically, there was an incident that happened back in 1888 called the Great Sheep Panic. This is where sheep, thousands of them, at the same time, they got up and they just fled. They went crazy.
The cause of that incident is still up for debate today. As for our East Sussex herd,
whatever caused these sheep to act in unison, something powerful triggered them.
whether you think all crop circles are hoaxes or you're already at work decoding them, you've got to admit, these sheep certainly seem to be up to something. Let's turn to our experts to find out if this flock is being manipulated by extraterrestrial forces or if someone is trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Dr. Stephanie Shuttler says the wallaby crop circles have more to do with the crops than the circles.
They were eating poppy plants and they got high and were jumping around in circles that made these patterns.
But biologist Floyd Hayes doesn't think an opium high accounts for the strange behavior of the English sheep.
I don't think there's any evidence that they're drugged. I think if they were really not feeling well, they'd probably be sprawled out on the ground, but they're all standing alert, so they appear to be healthy.
So, is there a chance these sheep circles could be perfectly natural?
So a lot of prey species will gather together as a defense against predators, especially in open areas like this, and they will form circular shapes. What's really odd about this, though, is that the circles seem to be perfectly shaped and evenly spaced apart. So this is something that you really wouldn't see naturally happen.
Shuttler looks closer and notes that most of the sheep have their heads down, like they're eating. For her, that clue is the key to this mystery.
What's really going on is these sheep are just eating, and the food that they were given was laid out in this circular pattern. The sheep are therefore making this formation just because that's where the food is.
Chris Hogg arrived at the same conclusion. He decided to investigate after taking this photo and track down the farmer.
I was like, have you seen what the sheep are doing? And he looks over, he goes, yes, I fed them in that shape.
So we've solved the mystery. It seems that the way to a sheep's mind is through its stomach. Our verdict? These strange sheep circles were simply a byproduct of a specific feeding method.